one chapter, that is exemption in indirect tax. First, we will list out few of the exemptions because just see the serial number. Serial number 1, around 104 to 114 exemptions are there. How many? 104 to 114. Few are not so important, and the rest what we see, they are given 87. Okay, 87 doesn't mean that it is 87 absolute number. If you see 82, 82A, like that, they have so many things. 81A, 81, 81A, like that. Around 114 to 115 exemptions are there. It is not feasible to study all. Hence, what we can do is, we can just list out few of the exemptions which is important from the point of view of examination. Okay. You guys have the textbook with you in front of you guys. Have you opened the textbook? Yeah. Then please keep ticking the numbers. I will tell you. Then I will start with the text, whatever it is given in the material. Okay, from here. First one, services. This one, tick this. First one, tick. These are all government services. We will do in one shot. FIFA World Cup and all, it's gone case. Residential dwelling, that is exempt. 13, mark this 13 as important. You will get the question on this 13 relating to these 13. You guys need to tell me the numbers. Okay. 15. This is with respect to air. Important. 17. Transportation service. 18. Transportation of goods. 19 and 19A. 19, 19A, 19B, 19C, all almost similar type. 19, 19A, 19B. 19C is not that important. 20. Transportation of goods by rail or vessel. Same thing is applicable for GTA. 21. Same thing, ditto copy paste except one or two items. All are same to same. 21 important. Only with respect to 36, this one, the third one. Okay, 36, 3 is important. This one, 45. It is linked to RCM, Advocate Arbitral Tribunal. 45. The same thing is applicable to senior advocate and all they are given. It is important. 45. 53. Sponsorship and sporting event. By way of sponsorship of sporting events organized. Not, 1 second, leave this one. It is not that important. Don't want. 53 scratch. 53A, services by way of fumigation in a warehouse of agricultural produce. Just simply read this one. They give the same kind of sentence. Okay. 54, agriculture. 54 is important. Agriculture. All these things related to agriculture. 57, services by way of preconditioning, pre-cooling, ripening, waxing, retail packing, labeling. All are important. 57. Okay. 66, educational institution. These are all the entry numbers. 66, educational institution. Important. 68, sporting. Important. 78, important. 79, organizing, admission. If you guys recall, place of supply, organizing, admission, those things. It is important. Same thing, 81. It is related to 79. 79 and 81. Both are linking entries. That's it. Okay. We will start one by one. This is the first entry. First number 1, right? The list gives the exemption of the services, not the goods. Services exempt from tax. That means whatever they have mentioned here, it is not levied to GST. Even though it is taxable in some of the provisions, the exemption is available to those services here. Okay. First one, services by an entity registered under Section 12A of the Income Tax Act 1961 by way of charitable activities. If any institution which is registered under Section 12AA of the Income Tax Act, which is doing the charitable activities, all those charitable activities is exempt from tax. Though it is a supply, it is exempt from tax. Okay. Which is the next one? Slide 12. Okay, 12. Services by way of renting of residential dwelling for use as residence. Assume that you have 3 or 4 houses. You will give those houses on rent. Whatever the rent you receive is a supply of service from you to the tenant. Tenant will pay the consideration for that. If that property is used for residential dwelling, then it is exempt. If the same property is used for the commercial, it is taxable, subject to certain limits. Okay, this is the limits. We will see that one next. Residential dwelling exempt. Even if you have 100 houses, you give them for rent. Whatever the rent you receive, it will be exempt from tax. Now the question, since we are talking about the exemption, let me be little clear. Okay. See, dwelling means what? Dwelling means what? Where you can reside and sleep. Okay. Hospital. Have you guys heard about the hospitals, right? What are all the things hospital will do for the patient? What are all the things hospital will do for the patients? If anyone admits, what are all the things hospital will do? They give the medical treatment, they give the perform testing, they admit and they provide the room. Providing the room is renting. Now the question arises whether that renting is taxable room. Since medical is exempt, the renting is ancillary to the medical treatment, hence the renting of rooms to the patient is also exempt. Okay, the questions may come. Next, 13th, entry number 13. Services by a person by way of conduct of any religious ceremony. That means any priest or any father who does any religious ceremony, whatever he or she does is a service. Whatever the consideration you pay to them is exempt from GST. Religious, it should be religious. Renting of precincts of a religious place meant for general public, owned or managed by an entity registered as a charitable or religious trust, which is registered under section 12AA of the Income Tax Act, or any trust or institution registered under subclause 5 of clause 22Q, something is given. Just remember section 12AA, if the trust is registered, that temple is a trust. If it is registered under section 12AA, whatever the service of renting means what? Have you guys gone to any big temples where there are so many stalls? Have you guys seen the stalls in front of the temples? The flower stall, bangles, idols stalls. There are so many stalls. Along with that, there is a parking place is also there. That parking place is also be rented. That person will collect some amount, nominal amount for the parking, and where you leave your footwear, that is also being rented. for which you pay certain sum. All those things, if the trust or the temple, if it is owned by them, those places, then it is exempt subject to certain limit. What is that limit? We'll see. Provided nothing contained in entry B. Entry B means this one. This will be exempted provided if it is within this limit. Where renting of rooms, even the temples will have the rooms for the pilgrims who can stay there. If the renting of room is rupees 1000 or more per day, then it is taxable. If it is less than 1000, it is exempt. Okay. Renting of premises, community halls, where many people will perform certain ceremonies at the temple itself, like naming ceremony, marriages, some what do you call religious functions will be performed at the temple, and gurudwar, mosque, church, those things all are covered here. Okay. Kalyana Mantapam, if the temple has the Kalyana Mantapam, if you use that Kalyana Mantapam and pay the rent, if that rent is 10,000 or more, 10,000 or more per day, it is taxable. Less than 10,000 per day, it is exempt. Renting of shops, I told you, flower shop, bangle stores, bangle shop, everything they have given for the rent. If it is owned by the temple, if that rent per month exceeds 10,000, it is taxable. If the rent of that shop is not more than 10,000, it is exempt. Please remember the threshold limit. Renting of rooms, 1000 or more, taxable. Community hall or Kalyana Mantapam or renting of any space or open area, 10,000 per day. These two are per day. The last one, renting of shop, is 10,000 per month. Please remember, don't get confused. You take this one as per month and this is also per month. Per day. Like that, don't get confused. Okay, you will get the question on these things. They will include the temple as a room. They are provided on rent. The rent of room per day is 1,200. They will ask you to calculate taxable value or taxable supply. In that case, you have to include whatever the room is there multiplied by rent per day. If it exceeds, rent per day exceeds 1,000, you have to include all those multiplied by whatever the room. That means number of rooms into room per day. You have to include in the value of supply. Like that they will ask question. Okay. Next, hotel. If in the hotel also, the rent of the hotel is rupees 1,000 per day, more than 1,000. 1 second. 999 normally they charge. That means 1,000 and above, it is taxable. Below 1,000, not taxable. Okay. 15. Very important. Transportation of passengers with or without accompanied belongings by air. That means if you transport any air transport company, transport the passengers from one place to another place. Here the places are important. Okay. By air. Embarking from means taking off, or terminating, that is landing. Take off and landing. If the plane is taking off from these places or terminating in these places. Example, you will book a air ticket from Bangalore to Assam. It will land at Assam, no? On that air ticket from Bangalore to Assam, GST is not levied. Okay. Second example, you want to go to Delhi from Sikkim. You take the flight at Sikkim. You board the flight at Sikkim and you will land at Delhi. Hence, this on this air ticket, the charges, whatever the flight charges you on that, GST is not levied. Why? Because embarking in these places, from these places, if you embark the flight, or terminating, that means landing from these states or to these states, the charges on the flight on which GST is not levied. Okay, that is the main thing. Next, that is air. Non-air conditioned contract carriage, non-AC buses, other than radio taxi. Radio taxi means Ola, Uber, which runs through GPS, that one. For transportation of passengers, excluding tourism. That means if you hire any non-air conditioned contract carriage, other than for the tourism purpose, or conducted tour, or for the charter or hire, it is exempt. We are studying the exemption. Whatever it is mentioned is exempted. Other than this, chargeable to tax. Okay. Non-air conditioned contract carriage. That means, what does it mean? Air condition means what? It is taxable. Non-air condition, other than these, excluding tourism, taxable. Even though it is non-air conditioned, tourism, if it is taken for tourism, taxable. Conducted tour from college, the college management will take the students to tour, conducted tour to some other place or state, taxable, even though it is non-air conditioned. Charter or hire, you will take the bus and you will drive. It is taxable even though it is non-air conditioned. You will hire the bus for your family trip. It is taxable even though it is non-air conditioned. That means, what is not taxable? What is not taxable? This one is not taxable. Stage carriage, other than air conditioned stage carriage. Stage carriage means local bus, BMTC. You will take the bus from one place to another place. If it is non-AC, within the city or between the cities, the government run buses or the private buses, it is not taxable. Non-AC, if it is AC, taxable. Non-AC, not taxable. Okay. Next, 16th, see. Here, for the year, to these states or from these states, if you take a flight, it is exempt. Assume that from Bangalore to Assam, you don't have direct flight. You will have to go to Kolkata. From there, you have to go take another flight for Assam. In that case, whatever the flight you take from Bangalore to Kolkata and Kolkata to Assam, that Bangalore to Kolkata flight charges is also exempt on regional connectivity scheme airport. If it is mentioned as regional connectivity flight airport, in that case, the Bangalore to Kolkata air charges is also exempt from GST. Okay. Next, 17. Transportation of passengers with or without accompanied belongings in railways. We saw there air and road. Here we are seeing railways. Railways in a class other than first class or air conditioned AC coach. First class and AC is taxable. Other than first class and AC, three tier, sleeper class, sitting when you go to a place in train while by sitting, that is exempt. If you take a ticket of AC, it is taxable. Okay, metro, monorail or tramway exempt. Inland waterways exempt. In Kerala, if you guys have seen, Kerala has inland waterways from one place to another place. You may go through boat. That charges of the boat is also exempt. It is only for the purpose of transportation. If it is tourism, not exempt. Public transport, I told you, no, stage carriage, that is public transport. Other than predominantly for tourism. If it is tourism, taxable. Other than tourism, exempt. In a vessel between places located in India. In a vessel means ship from one state to another state if you go by ship. If it is not a tourism purpose, then it is exempt. Meter cab or auto rickshaws exempt, including e-auto rickshaws. That means Ola, Uber and all taxable. Okay. Next, here use visa. One is air, another one is road, train, ship, train and ship. Okay. Next, 18th, services by way of transportation of goods. Till that we saw passengers, now it is goods. If you are transporting the goods by road, if you are transporting the goods by road in a goods transport agency, it is taxable. Or you are taking a courier service, it is taxable. Other than that, if you are transporting any goods by road, is exempt. Okay, first one by road. Second one by inland waterways. If you transport any goods by inland waterways, it is exempt. If you transport any goods by an aircraft within India, taxable. From outside India to India, earlier it was exempt up to 30th September 21. They extended up to 30th September 22. Now they have removed that. Hence, whatever the transportation outside India to India on which the freight charges you will pay, freight, not flight. Freight charges you pay on which GST is levied. What is the place of provision states? Transportation of goods, place of provision. Have you guys remember? Okay. If you transport in a vessel, same thing. Flight and vessel, both in the same line. Okay. Next. 20. If you are transporting some goods by rail or vessels, all goods liable to GST, provided these things, if you are transporting, it is exempt from GST. What are those? Relief material meant for victims of natural or man-made disasters, calamities, accident or mishaps. You send the foodstuffs from Mysore to now recently, I think in Meghalaya or somewhere, the flood came, no? You are sending the food items or some other relief materials from Mysore to that place. It will go through railway. On that, freight charges on which GST is not levied. I don't think even the freight will also be taken. Okay. Defense or military equipments, if you are transporting through rail or vessel, these materials, equipments, it is exempt from GST. Newspapers or magazines, if that newspaper agency is registered with the register of newspapers, then only it is exempt, otherwise it is taxable. Railway equipments or materials, if you are transporting railway material through rail or vessels, it is exempt. If you are transporting any agricultural produce through rail or vessel, it is exempt. That means exempt means GST is not levied. GST exempt from GST. You will have to pay freight, but GST is not levied. If you are transporting milk, salt and food grains, including flours, pulses and rice. See, clearly they have given rice here. Here it paddy covers here. Rice will cover here. And organic manure. I think somewhere I asked fertilizers. Is fertilizers organic manure or not? If you transport fertilizers by rail or vessels, it is taxable. Okay. The same thing. If you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, out of that, one or two items are excluding. Otherwise, all the things are same. Agricultural produce. If you are transporting through GTA by road, okay, GTA agriculture produce, here also it is covered. Next, milk, salt, food grains. Sixth one, here it is covered. Organic manure covered. Newspaper, I told you newspaper is covered. Relief material, it is covered. Defense or military equipment, covered. Railway equipment or material, it is not covered. Except that all are ditto. Two additions are there. What are the two additions? If you are transporting, that means you are a GTA, you will receive the goods to be transported to some other place from a person or the customer. If the freight charges, you charge, see, B and C, I am referring to B and C. Let me read. Goods where consideration charged for the transportation of goods on a consignment transported in a single carriage. Single carriage means in one vehicle, if you are sending that. If the value of that, charges of that consignment, whatever you are transporting, the transportation charges, if it is not more than 1,500, it is fully exempt. Fully exempt. That transportation, whatever you are transporting, for which you are getting the charges, if it is less than 1,500, it is fully exempt. Okay. You have to identify the differences between these two. Here, single carriage, if you are transporting the goods. Second one, goods where consideration charged for transportation of all such goods for a single consignee does not exceed rupees 750, then it is exempt. If it exceeds 750, chargeable to tax. In the above case, if it exceeds 1,500, it is chargeable to tax. Otherwise, no GST is levied. Which is the next one? This one, right? Is this one? This one, 36, life insurance. The life insurance company will provide the life insurance services. if they are providing to micro insurance, if the value, I mean to say the coverage is up to rupees 2 lakhs, it is exempt. The premium whatever you pay, it will be exempt. If the life cover is more than 2 lakhs, then it is taxable. That means premium you pay, it will be chargeable to GST. Please remember this 2 lakh cover, to which life micro insurance. It is not the premium amount. Please remember, it is not the premium amount. It is the coverage. Coverage means policy sum assured. Huh. 45. Services provided by an arbitral tribunal. I think I discussed this one. Senior advocate, firm of advocates, advocate, or the arbitral tribunal. I think in RCM chapter, I think I discussed this one. Let me explain once again. The arbitral tribunal is nothing but mediator. If there is a family dispute, example, instead of going to the court, you will go to a arbitral tribunal who will listen to your concerns or issues. Then he will give he will pass an order. Okay, or he will give some suggestions which you guys will implement. For which, if he charges anything on that charge, GST is not levied. If the same arbitral tribunal giving any providing any services to a business entity, if that business entity's turnover during the preceding previous year is below the threshold limit, then it is exempt. If it exceeds the threshold limit, then it is taxable. What is the threshold limit? 20 lakhs. If the turnover is more than 20 lakhs, if any services given by arbitral tribunal to the business entity is taxable. Next, partnership firm of advocates. They are providing a services to an individual advocate. Firm of advocate is providing the services to the individual advocate. Then whatever the service they give, it is exempt from tax, provided the turnover of that individual advocate is below threshold limit. Okay. If partnership firm providing the services to a senior advocate, firm of advocates providing the services to a senior advocate, then it is fully taxable. Okay. The reverse case, senior advocate is providing the legal services to any person other than a business entity, it is exempt, provided that business entity's turnover is less than threshold limit of 20 lakhs during the preceding previous years. Okay, please remember that 20 lakhs limit. agriculture. 54. Services relating to cultivation of plants and rearing of all life forms of animals except the rearing of horses for food, fiber, fuel, raw material or any or other similar products or agriculture produced by way of. If if you see the word agriculture, because it is a huge some list of items are there. If you see the word agriculture, blindly put exempt. Okay, it is hard to remember many things. The only thing you please remember around these three: renting or leasing of agro machinery, it is exempt. Loading, unloading, packing, storing or warehousing of agricultural produce is exempt. Agricultural extension services, that is also exempt. Okay, please remember this one. Along with this is also relating to the agriculture. Agriculture in the sense fruits and vegetables. Services by way of, that means you are having a cold chain facility in your city where you store fruits and vegetables to preserve that. You charge for that. On that charges, GST is not levied. Preconditioning, pre-cooling, ripening, waxing. If you guys have observed that, the apple will have the wax coating on that, what do you call, above on the apple, they put waxing. Why? Because the moisture should not enter into the apple. If it enters, it gets spoiled. It gets rotten, hence they do the waxing. That services is also exempt. Retail packing. Retail packing means you bring 100 kgs of vegetables. You pack it in half of kgs. That is also exempt. Labeling. They put label of your company's name and put the MRP rate. That is also exempt with relating to fruits and vegetables. So that the essential characteristics of the fruits and vegetables should not disturb. It should remain as it is. Okay, essential characteristics. If you take fruit, mango, if you convert that mango into the juice, it is not exempt, it is taxable. Why? Essential characteristics has changed from mango to the juice. Educational institution. Services by educational institution or to educational institution. By educational institution to educational institution. There are two separate things. Okay, by educational institution, that means college or school providing the services. What kind of services to whom? If the college is providing the educational institution by an educational institution to its students, faculties and staff, all those services are exempt. By an educational institution by way of conduct of entrance examination against consideration in the form of entrance fee. Some colleges you might have seen, they do the examination, entrance exam, for which separate charges they will take. That is also exempt. These two are by. That means educational institution is giving services to others. Now, to an educational institution, to the college or to the school. Okay. What way? By way of transportation service. To whom? If it is to the students, if it is to the faculties of the institution or to the staff, it is exempt. Provided. Let me see. Have they mentioned that? Yes. Provided that nothing contained in sub-items 1, 2 and 3 of item B. Item B is this one. 2. 1, 2 and 3. If these services is given to the students or faculty or staff, if that institution should be below secondary education. That means if you are giving the services to degree students after second PUC, all these things becomes taxable. Only to higher secondary it is exempt. Shall apply to an educational institution other than the institution providing services by way of preschool education and education up to higher secondary school or equivalent. That means up to PUC. It will exempt. Other than PUC, it is taxable. Okay. Catering services, canteen, including midday meals sponsored by the central government or state government, it is exempt up to secondary. Security services, housekeeping services, cleaning and housekeeping provided to an educational institution is exempt, provided if it is given to higher secondary and equivalent. Remember, they give the degree college degree. You have to tax it. Okay, remember those things. These are all the minute. This one. 68. Services provided to a recognized sporting body. Recognized sporting body means if you take a cricket, BCCI is a sporting body. Okay, if any individual as a player, he is providing the services to BCCI as a referee, match referee, football, cricket and all, match referee, umpiring, coach or team manager. If these persons are providing a services to the recognized sporting body, it is fully exempt. Or by any other recognized sporting body. Recognized sporting body means IPL. If these people are giving the services to this, it is exempt. Any services provided by, it is like education only. National skill development, rural skill development, all these schemes. When you see relating to education, if it is not commercial, entire thing is exempt. '78. Services by an artist. Artist means who does the performance. What kind of performance? If he is a folk or classical art forms, then it is fully exempt. If he is that individual is a musician or a dancer or theater artist, if the consideration, what consideration? The person who is performing, he charges the consideration. If it is less than 1,50,000, fully exempt. If the consideration is more than 1,50,000, fully taxable. Sonu Nigam will come and sing. He charges 10 lakhs, fully taxable. Shreya Ghoshal will come and sing. She charges 25 lakhs, fully taxable. Okay. Zakir Hussain comes and performs. He charges 1,20,000, exempt. You guys are understanding, no? If those person provides the service as the brand ambassador, whatever the amount they charge, entire amount is taxable, provided that the exemption shall not apply to a service provided by a such artist as brand ambassador. If they are a brand ambassador, entire amount is taxable. Okay, 79. Services by way of admission. Admission means entry ticket. If you are taking a ticket to a museum, it is fully exempt. National park, wildlife sanctuary, for all these things, tiger reserve or zoo, on which GST is not levied. This is linked to this 79 and 81 are linking. Okay. Service by way of right to admission. Right to admission means ticket. This is also. Here is also ticket. Here is also ticket. To what are all the things? Circus, dance, theoretical performance, including drama or ballet, award function. 1 second, I am getting some call. Performance, drama or ballet, any award function, concert, pageant, musical performance, or any sporting event, whatever the ticket you take, if the value of the ticket is less than 500, it is fully exempt. If the value of ticket is more than 500, it is taxable. That means GST is levied on that ticket. Okay, that's the thing. Please remember all these things they will give. They will give. Okay. Done. I think, have I left anything which I mark you to, which I made you to mark? Have I left anything? If yes, please let me know. Okay, these are all the important things in exemption chapter.